Hey, Luke, thanks for joining us. So you are one of our new Army CSP guys for Street John Realty. And tell us a little bit about what the Army does for CSP real quick.
The Army makes it relatively difficult to use the CSP program. It's not really a retention tool that the Army likes, but basically the CSP program itself is a way to give service members the chance to somewhat transition into civilian life for a few months. Mine happened to be 4. I think you can go up to 6 on certain programs.
Yep.
But it gives you that time to maybe try a career field you're interested in, to kind of get your foot in the door before you get to do that while you're still collecting a paycheck from the military.
Okay.
So that way you can actually learn a new skill or job training on the career that you want to go into.
Gotcha.
For the real estate, for example, for me, I now have my real estate license versus if I couldn't do this program, then I'd be out in the civilian world, not making any money, trying to get a real estate license and do real estate stuff. So It's a really great program.
So a longer transition time. So we're just sort of compressing that timeline while you're still getting your activity pay and benefits and able to pick up from there. Yeah. And so you said 4 months. So you're going to be with my team for another 3, give or take?
I think it's like 80 days, 70 days, something like that.
So, almost 3 months. Yeah. So in the first 30 to 45 days, you already got through real estate school, the test, license, and completely onboarded with Keller Williams.
Completely onboarded. The state is doing state things and
working on the licensing,
but license is on its way.
Yeah. So, but full up. So in that respect, that's 6 weeks to 2 months of work that you wouldn't be making a paycheck if you had separated before you did all that.
Right. So with the program now, as soon as I get out of the military, I can start doing real estate stuff versus not having the program. And then now I'm,
and also get some actual training ahead of time and maybe hopefully close a transaction or 2 during that to sort of, set yourself up, gain that momentum that you need. And also another thing that I think people don't pay any attention to is work around civilians for 4 or 5 months and figure out all of those intricacies, we'll just call it.
Yeah, it is.
And how it differs.
It is a very different culture, a lot of different communication styles between the military and civilian side. But yeah, just let you be a regular person for a little bit until you are a regular person.
Yeah. Sort of demilitarize your psyche a little bit.
Yeah.
But since we're on that, use that as a segue. So you started off in the Navy, right? You did how many years in the Navy?
4.5.
4.5 years in the Navy. What did you do in the Navy?
I was a jet mechanic.
Okay.
So I worked on Boeing 707s at my first unit, and then my second unit, I went to the F-18 engines.
Okay.
Got to live in Travis Air Force Base, California, and then I did 2 years on the Ronald Reagan, it's a big aircraft carrier that was stationed in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So I was out there for 2 years.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. And then you got out of the Navy. Why did you decide to get out of the Navy?
Couple different reasons. My last deployment was during COVID, so
that was rough.
It was 3.5 months at sea, touched land for 3 days, and then another 3.5 months at sea. Not great chain of command. Kind of got some stuff pulled out from under me that I was working towards. So I was just over it and whatnot. And then I knew I was going into the Army after the Navy.
Okay.
I already had that. I wasn't talking to a recruiter, but I already had in my mind that I was going to join the Army. So I didn't even look into doing like a CSP through the Navy either.
Right.
But with me being forward deployed, it was very unlikely that I was going to be able to not go on deployment and do a CSP instead.
Right.
So that didn't work out there, but then transitioned out.
What year?
2021.
Okay.
I got out. Kind kind of hung around for 6 months. I worked like little stuff around like my hometown. Just worked at a pizza shop just to relax, still make some money, but enjoy my freedom. And then it was January of 23 that I shipped out for Army boot camp.
Okay, cool. And infantry?
Mm-hmm.
So you went from being a jet mechanic in the Navy.
I had bigger plans. I was trying to be a Green Beret.
Okay.
Ended up not working out.
Okay.
So how the Army does it is they send every potential Green Beret to infantry boot camp.
Right.
And then if you don't make Green Beret, then you just go back to infantry.
Gotcha.
So that's how
so the selection process.
Mm-hmm.
How far along in the selection process were you able to get?
I got injured.
Oh, man.
Pretty quickly. Well, I got injured in airborne school.
Okay.
I had a bunch of fractures all over my legs.
Oh, Jesus.
And then got to selection. For some reason, we were doing marathon prep. So we were running 30, 40 miles a week with and without rucks or body armor and whatnot.
And your legs were already compromised.
Yeah, my legs were already shot. And it was just kind of like, it just wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So for the past 2 years, you've done infantry up here at J-Bear, or were you somewhere else before?
I was J-Bear, yep.
J-Bear the whole time? Cool. How has that experience been up here?
Alaska's amazing.
Yeah.
I do think military folk don't give Alaska enough credit for what all it offers being in the military.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of junior soldiers that just hate Alaska.
Right.
And it just doesn't make sense to me. But then you ask them why, and it's like, because we were doing all this field stuff in the winter.
Yeah, it's the job.
Like, yeah. But
it's not the state.
Yeah. And they just want to get out of the Army and never come back to Alaska again. And it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Alaska's
When you're
awesome.
able to experience it on your own terms, it's a little different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the last activities that you really get a kick out of?
I mean, fishing, hunting, hiking. The winter's a little tough. This will be my first winter not being active duty.
Okay.
So I'll be interested to see how that goes because our training cycle is, we're Arctic.
Right.
So winter is our training cycle. So
doing
really
a lot of field stuff in the winter.
Yeah, you really don't get the time to experience all that much. And then now things are changing where people aren't even getting their summer off like they're supposed to. So
yeah.
See how that
the ops tempo is pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high, and then there's not a lot of downtime. And then when there is downtime, there's garrison stuff to do.
Right.
So it's again, I just don't think people give Alaska enough credit.
Yeah. What are some of the winter activities that you're going to be dipping your toes into?
I'm going to get into ice fishing this year.
We can help with that.
Yeah. I potentially rent some sled, see if I like snow machining.
Okay.
I grew up riding dirt bikes, so 2 less wheels, but it's same.
You're going to get hooked.
Same style, Yeah. So
it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I want to get into that. Really excited for waterfowl this fall.
Okay.
I want to do that. It's pretty much, if you like anything outside, Alaska's going to make you enjoy it 10 times more.
Yeah. And we didn't actually get into this yet, but where are you from originally?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Northeast Ohio, little town called Ravenna.
Okay. What's the nearest big city?
I'm about an hour-ish south of Cleveland.
Okay.
2 hours north of Columbus.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Area.
So sort of in between.
Mm-hmm.
But so did you do a lot of that same stuff there? Hunting, fishing, camping?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. So in Alaska's just
times 10.
Times 10.
Yeah.
On steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio, our big game is whitetail deer.
Right.
So that tells you enough.
Yeah. 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 Our predators are bigger than those.
Yeah.
By a substantial margin.
Yeah. Like our predators are coyotes.
Right.
And those aren't predators. But
Yeah. Cool. I have to get you out to the bear bait station too.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Salmon fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to participate last year?
I did a little bit.
Okay.
Not enough, but
I don't think it ever is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This year, I think I was allowed to last year, but this year I'm gonna try my hand at dip netting.
Okay. What did you floss last year or snag?
That just floss. Yeah.
Floss?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I do both. I like to dip net off the boat just because it gets the fish into the boat and you're done.
Yeah.
Flossing is fun.
That's what my buddy said. Tyler Kirby, actually, he dip nets to get his limit for the year.
Yep.
He's like, I catch enough to get a limit from me and my wife for the year. And then after that, I just fly fish for fun and floss for fun. Just to get out. But
to me, that's the best way. It's drag a camper or tent, whatever.
Yeah. That's what he said. He said, I'll dip net for a weekend, get that, and then I'll do a charter to get my halibut, and then it's just having fun after that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, it's the flossing is just. I mean, I fly fish in other states and fished. I mean, I'm from Florida originally, so lots of fishing. But the flossing is just a different thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're just in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully, you're not shoulder to shoulder. Depending on where you're at, you're going to be shoulder to shoulder. But you can find spots that you're not going to be.
Yeah.
And just nothing else matters. Just do the thing.
I think that's also what's really cool about Alaska is because there's so much open land that, like, you can just go wander.
Right.
And find a honey hole that maybe you and only a handful of people know about.
Right.
Which I think is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of opportunity. So, looking forward, what's the plan?
Buying a house soon.
Okay.
Closing June 2nd. So
congrats on that.
That's exciting. I'll have enough room to get a freezer so I can catch more fish this year.
Okay.
And have in there. Be wrapping up my CSP June 26th, I believe.
Okay.
They have to go out process the military and then in process back into the military for the reserves.
Again.
Yep.
All right.
For the third time.
To which branch?
Air Force.
Air Force. All right. So we got Navy, Army, now Air Force.
Yep.
Do you already have plans to join the Marines at some point?
No. Everyone keeps bringing up the Coast Guard.
I don't.
Marines would be kind of.
I don't count those guys.
I think the Marines would be going backwards.
Okay, going backwards from the infantry. The Marines is backwards from the infantry.
I mean, from
infantry, shots fired.
Infantry to the Air Force, and then Air Force to the Marines. That's backtracking.
Yeah, I got you. No, I'm tracking. Yeah. You're definitely saving the best for last right now with the Air Force. Yeah, no bias.
And then
no bias.
Once I get that stuff rolling, I'm gonna start hammering out my AMP license.
Okay.
And getting all that stuff.
Gotcha. So you already been in touch with a You already been in touch with a recruiter and got all that stuff lined out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. That's awesome.
Yep.
And it also lets you stay here, huh?
That's a big plus for me. Yeah.
So real estate wise, what are you looking forward to do moving forward?
I think I need to get more info. I guess more education on the paperwork side of things, because I did the post-licensing classes,
right?
But it wasn't so much like a class. Right. It was just like, here's the material, here are the quizzes.
Yeah.
Do them. So I would
need reps.
Yeah, reps would be great.
Need reps. We're building that momentum now.
Yeah. I mean, doing my own house was definitely like the puzzle pieces are starting to come together to form the big picture of what I'm trying to learn with real estate.
Yeah, the scaffolding, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think full-time real estate for me is probably out of the question.
Okay.
Just nothing against real estate at all. It's just I'm not big on like putting myself out there like you sometimes need to as a real estate agent.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Social media stuff and that kind of stuff. Like I don't like cold calling people. Like we don't really do that, but that kind of stuff, putting myself out there isn't a strong suit of mine. But I do think my connections with the military for referral-based stuff would be where I could do great.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's kind of the route I'm going.
Yeah.
Is just
sort of direct traffic for the people you care about.
Yeah, because I mean, even like with like you and our team, like I think we got how many states covered?
All of them.
Pretty much all of them.
All of them.
And probably multiple in each state for different areas.
Yep.
So that with military, because everybody's from somewhere new or going somewhere different or something like that, that I can really use the referral side of things to get money generated and whatnot.
Yeah, that's really good. So recap, Navy for almost 6 years?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Army for the remainder. Now Air Force, how long is the Air Force going to last, you think? Retirement?
The contract's only for 3 years, but I do plan on finishing my 20.
Cool.
I'm gonna be reserved. I'm gonna be the art position.
Yeah, active reserve technician.
Yeah. Yep. So do that for 3 years, and then I'm hoping at the end of the 3 years, or maybe sometimes during the 3 years, that an active duty slot pops and I can snag that.
Okay, gotcha. So which unit are you joining on JBear?
I'm not 100% sure.
Is it 301st?
I think I can look it up.
No worries. It's all good.
But
I just wanted to shout out to them in case they saw it. Pay attention.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no worries. So go to basically get a couple transactions under your belt, learn what you need to do regarding those, then basically take your license referral status for the time being, but always have it in your back pocket in case you need it, and do an art position for at least the next 3 years, and keep an eye open for a longer term commitment to probably retire in the future. Besides the fact that Street John Realty is the only approved CSP real estate program in Alaska, were there any other things that chose you to go that route?
I personally just think real estate's really cool, and I just think the passive income with real estate, as far as like if you have like rental properties or something,
investments,
it's insane to think that you get a couple houses under your belt, and then a few years once they start getting paid off and whatnot.
Yeah, appreciation.
Like you'll never pay mortgage again because these rental properties are paying them for you.
Right.
Like that's kind of talking to my wife about real estate stuff, because she's doesn't really care in a way.
Right.
Like she does care, but like
it's not
like,
a priority.
Just tell me where we're moving. Like
right.
And trying to explain to her that like once this house is paid off, like that's our mortgage coming in every month that we don't have to pay.
Right. If you have a renter in the property.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And the more frequently you can move, because you can get a different house every year, based off of whatever your life events happen. My family's too big for this unit. Now let's go get this and move up every year. The more doors you collect, as long as you're doing it in a deliberate way, you're not exposing yourself to too much risk. You can really, really bank some money very quickly.
And with like the team that we have, with like all the knowledge between like you and Rachel and like even Taylor, like he's great with me shadowing him and him explaining what he's doing and certain processes and stuff. Like, and Alan, Rachel's husband, that's a property manager. Like, that's everything I pretty much asked for in a CSP, was like, show me how to do real estate, and then
expose me to all the aspects,
like how to do like the price comparisons and whatnot to see what's a good rental property, what isn't, what can I charge for rent for this, and so forth.
Yeah. I mean, the property that you're currently at right now, I mean, your mortgage is well under what you could get for rent for it.
Oh yeah.
So we'll be having this conversation again in a year. Hey, you ready to get another one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be time. So,
and even like if I don't do a transaction during the CSP, me using my license and being my own agent as a buyer, paid for itself. Like the CSP paid for itself, with like the initial cost of stuff.
Right. You were able to waive what, like $7,000 or $8,000?
Yeah, I think it's like $6,500.
Yeah.
That I use towards
closing costs,
closings and whatnot.
Yeah.
That alone paid for
this,
what I had to do for the CSP.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So, all right, cool. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And more to come.